Hey, I'm Mr. and welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the manager careers. We're not headed to Malaysia, we're heading to Australia. Okay, I'm starting to think this game is bugged in the other direction with the weather. Look again, it is a wet track, but with a dry line, just like in Japan last time out, where McDonald flew. The Elusive flew as well in Moto 2, achieved a historic result in McDonald and the Finn. I think we're definitely retaining the Finn for next season in Moto 2, be our lead rider, as McDonald steps up to MotoGP. And then we've got our Moto 3 pair, and what do we do with the Argentine rider? Do we make him step up to Moto 2, or do we keep him alongside Andrea, as they've been a very good pairing? Let's go through Casey Stoner corner, then into the hairpin. On this Philippine circuit, do love this circuit, one of my favourite on the calendar. And absolutely fantastic to ride around. Fast, flowing, everything you would want in a circuit in my eyes. A bit old school it feels like compared to, modern circuits. The undulation as well, absolutely fantastic, beautiful scenery. Just a shame we only have it once on the calendar. Why can we have it like 5 times, Dorna? That's all knocked up into the hairpin. But again, we do 2 qualifying efforts. But again, that's something we've got to look out for. As you've got to brake before going down the hill, over the rise. So if you do it after, as you've seen, you can maybe brake too hard, lose the front end as I did there. So yeah, got to be careful of that in the race if you have to fight away through the field, like we have seen from McDonald in the past round here. It has not been very successful. So if he's right at the front with his qualifying effort, he's probably going to try and set 32, I'm guessing. I was looking at 37. Be around 5 seconds faster. Or 34, 33. He's got some traffic on his qualifying effort, and it looks like, unfortunately. Let's look at that, audio caught for second up in the first sector. This all goes slightly wide with that sweeping left-hander. And goes slightly wide in the hairpin, but he's going to get the cut back on the rider in front. As Cortese sets off 36.8. So I want to be much faster than that, as we are getting held up now. Get out of the way. Good qualifying, goddammit. Look at 1.6 seconds up. And we even got to the point where we crashed in the previous lap. As now we're going up the hill, 35.8 from Bagnaia. Now here we go, brake before the rise, ease the bike in, take the ride line, just take the line with the least resistance. Marker sets to 34.3. That is the marker then, 34s. So let's see how McDonald goes through this final corner. It's such a tricky corner as well. You kind of tack it on the way in, but then you just compromise yourself on the way out. You've got to just get the bike kind of touch the apex. As he does a 33.5. Yes, McDonald. That's more like it. As he almost crashes into the rider coming out of the pits. I think he's right at the front there, as he's beat Marcus's time. And yeah, ignore that. We're not going out again. But yeah, in that final corner, it's just all about trying to get the exit rather than the entrance. And you see that on a couple corners as well. As once again, oh, the Finn's not on the front row. He's leading the second row directly behind McDonald as he's alongside Lucy and Oliveira. While McDonald grabs another pole in these tricky conditions ahead of the Mark VDS twins with Marcus ahead of Morbidelli. He needs to do that for the championship and make it go to the final round in Malaysia, I believe it will be, until Valencia. There's on the third row, got Piscini, Baldassari and Nakagami with Shorter running at the top 10 as who's right at the back? It's Ika, unfortunately. So let's see. The Elusive Twins can once again back up a superb qualifying effort. Oh, it just keeps raining. It's wonderful. As McDonald, he's at home in these conditions. He is a rowing boat amongst the rest of the field who are just trying to walk on water and tread on it. As it should be a good race for him, but it should be a good race for the Finn as well, as he showed in the last round Japan. He's very good in these conditions, but as you can see through that field, looking further down, there's a home hero Gardner.
From the start of the race and inside the riders' heads, the countdown begins. We are Australian Grand Prix here at stunning Phillip Island.
In 25th, again, that's another slight glitch with this game where it doesn't sometimes show the full formation out. That's a bit annoying there. But here we go. Doing out the engines, waiting for the lights to appear. And go out for another 7-lap race. As McDonald gets a superb start as it just keeps pouring it down for this race. Obviously, it must have been dry at the beginning of the week and it just keeps getting worse and worse as well. Even though there's some sunshine trying to point its way through the clouds. So it goes very wide in that second corner. As De Vieira's ahead of Morbidelli. Morbidelli's losing out at the start. Does that mean Marcus is second? It does. Oh, where's the fin? I think he hasn't lost out as well. As De Vieira has a superb start up onto the podium places. And that's what Marcus and De Vieira need to do. Bully kind of Morbidelli backwards. Says, oh, here comes the fin. Up into third ahead of De Vieira. So Morbidelli's down to at least 5th. This is good for McDonald as well. You might actually be in with a very outside chance of the title then, head into the final round. As there's Marcus, 1.7 seconds back. Once again, it's going to be a dull race, a quiet race. Unless McDonald messes up. So I do apologise once again, but I can't help it. I don't know the weather conditions before the race weekend, so I can't change the difficulty between sessions either. That would be a nice feature, just like with the F1 games, even though you don't have that between qualifying and the race, I believe. But you have it between practice and qualifying. Maybe also can look at that, because if it's wet conditions like this, it would have been nice to put it on the highest difficulty and actually have a bit of a challenge in these conditions, rather than, as you're seeing in the background and see with every wet race, McDonald is a wet weather wizard. Where everyone is apprentices, it looks like. He sets the price at 37.9, almost 3 seconds ahead of Marquez. Teammate in third. Can he get ahead of the Spaniard? Could we get back-to-back 1-2s for Elusive? For I believe the first time? No, our Moto3 team has done it, haven't they? But at least at Moto2 there will be for the first time. So we go through Casey Stone Corner. There's that bump there. I'm a bit anxious about taking a MotoGP bike through there because of that bump. But that kick at the back end, like we see, that right hand at the end of the first sector in Brno. And in previous games it really did kick out the back end, and then the right handed down the hill towards the end of that at Brno. There's once again another corner which kicks at the back end. He's got De Vieira in second. Where's Marquez gone? 4.4 seconds now ahead of the Portuguese rider in second. Seems like our teammate's been passed by De Vieira and didn't even notice. Where is Marcus? Where are the Mark V DS pair? What a race this is turning out to be for KTM with De Vieira and Elusive once again. Needs to be very gentle in these conditions. Virtually no tyre wear though so far, if you look at the bottom right. Just taking off like 5% in the tyres on 2 laps. At least the rear tyre, the front tyre looks like it hasn't even worn yet. He sets a 33.4. This is even faster than his qualifying effort. But I guess these wet tyres do work a bit better in these type of conditions. As there is the Finn taking second over De Vieira. Oh, we're going to be partying hard after this race. If it happens. The team might be party out after this race if it happens again. As always, is that bump that takes out McDonald. Told you had to be wary of that bump, and it has taken out the bike. So we've got to try and avoid that on the next lap. He still holds the lead though, but now it's not a comfortable gap of around 5 seconds. It's around a second maybe to his teammate. You can faintly hear the engines behind. It's 3 seconds. I haven't lost actually that much time then. Only lost a couple of seconds with that fault. Might be able to do that every lap. The way he builds up this gap for the remainder of the lap. It's very gentle into the hairpin. Running it out very wide. It's the Finn, 3.3 seconds back. Holding second. Very happy team manager here. Got the horn twitching foot going on, and the pit wall seeing this as well. As we go on to the 4th lap, almost halfway through this race already. They really do fly by the laps here at Phillip Island. Again, there's a bit of a bump in that first corner as well. I'm very wary of. So, just showing you why you don't want to turn in too early into this left-hander. You want to turn in very late. Maybe just keep a very wide line. So we go through the left, very gentle. He's gone too wide onto the curb. Immediately down is McDonald. Still holds onto the lead though. Here's the fin. Let's see, how do we tackle that left-hander now? Just carried too much speed there. As you see, tried to turn in less with less lean. As now he's got a 2.4 second lead ahead of the fin. He only lost a second and a half. That fool. Really can afford to do it every lap. He goes a bit wide over the ridge. And down to second into the hairpin. Actually slightly faster than the previous lap. That's around a 1:10 previous lap. Now we're up to a 1:9 in this sector. Need to come to the end of this 4th lap. Got the helicopter floating ahead. Not sure you want the helicopter out in these conditions. As gone to the 5th lap. Big crowd on the right hand side. Love the motorcycle racing. It'd be nice to have an Australian right up there as well. Once again with the void that Casey Stoner has left. Grand Prix motorcycle racing for them. We've got Jack Miller, who's been very handy in the Mark VDS machine. Going to Pro-Mat next year. Alongside Petrucci, that should be a very interesting battle, even though they're on different bikes. And so there we go, they're off a lot. So the bike isn't bouncing too much into that bump. As unfortunately Ika is down from last. Not helping his chances of not, well, finishing last this race. But at least he's not the wooden spoon holder, that's Manzi at the moment. Bit of a surprise. Normally you expect it to be another Italian, Locatelli right there. But at the moment it's Manzi, there might have been an effect of the glitch as well. Let's go up the hill. Through the left. Get hard on the power. I'll say hard, you kind of treat the throttle like it's an egg. You know, you don't want to smash the egg. This with 5.4 seconds there of our teammate. Short shift up to 3rd. Hard on the power in 4th. And dab the brakes. Let the bike ease into that corner and just be smoothing the power out of it. As the tyres are around. A 3rd one on the rear. Around a quarter, not even a quarter on the front. Unbelievable tyre wear on the front tyre. Go a bit wide again, that bump. Kind of unsettling the bike slightly on this penultimate lap. That's not too bad as you see the sun glisten on the turn 2 corner. Through the puddles. So we go into this left-hander. Oliveira in 3rd. So once again, Morbidelli not right up there. So once again, lifting off before that bump seems to help. That's what we've got to do now. Can't take it, you know, Harry Flatters anymore. Come to the end of this lap. Where are the Mark VDS pair? That's the big question. Are they just sitting in 4th and 5th? Because if so, then it's not actually that big a loss for Morbidelli being right behind his teammate. You virtually have won the title, guaranteed to enter the final round. Much different than last season, of course. They were virtually neck and neck, the pair, and it's winner takes all. Now, even if Marcus wins, it's looking likely Morbidelli just needs to finish in the top 10 to be guaranteed the title. As we've seen in Valencia in the past, crazy things can happen as Surin is down in the wet. Not Valencia, sorry, Malaysia. Crazy things have happened in the past there. And it's a very kind circuit to McDonald, a very wet circuit at times as well. So once again, the rain dance kit, there's a real possibility it could work there once again as we go into the final lap. McDonald has backed off into the 34s. So he's got a very comfortable lead over his teammate Ana Oliveira. No need to push once again on this final lap. I know there's demonstration in the wet, despite a couple of falls heading into the corner we're coming up to. Being too aggressive into it. Now he's dealt with it. Shouldn't be too bad. There we go, over the bump. And get back on the power. Just ease the bike into these corners. Look at that rear tyre, half worn. Very big disparity between the tyres there. The front tyre again is still only around barely worn. The rear tyre though, halfway. Around almost 2/3 now. Which probably shouldn't be a surprise around this circuit. As you can see, the rear tyre does get a bit of a working. So does the front tyre, lots of high speed corners. As you go over the hill, down the ridge. Taking out wide the line, don't want to lean in too much into that corner. Just smooth with the bike through it. Almost losing the rear end there once again. Now into the final corner. Don't even have to brake now, just ease the bike there into fourth. And smooth on the power has it. McDonald has won again. It was an elusive 1-2, and as he kept his title chances alive to the final round. You will find out in a second as that bike is a bit damaged. As it is a 1-2 back-to-back 1-2s in Moto2. Well done to the Finn, as he did exactly the same fast as that as Oliveira in third. Morbidelli in fourth ahead of Marquez. That might be the title with Baldassarri 6th, Passini 7th, Lutti 8th, Bagnaia 9th, and Sabi rounding out the top 10 ahead of Marini, Nakagami, Danny Kent, Agata and Axel Pons grabs the final point, just ahead of Fabio Quartararo by 42 thousandths of a second, with Ika right at the back. As in the championship, Modord up to third ahead of Oliveira by 3 points, but Morbidelli has virtually guaranteed the title once again as he's 25 points ahead of Marquez. A race win, so Marquez needs to win. I hope Morbidelli crashes out, but even then I think Morbidelli has more wins than Marquez. We'll find out at the end of the season. But Modord definitely in the battle for second though, 2 points behind the Spaniard. Has Baldassarri in fifth, 10 points ahead of Passini, who's 10 points ahead of Lutti, who's 14 points ahead of the Finn, who's 16 points ahead of Bagnaia, who's 12 points ahead of Zabi, rounds out the top 10. So there's kind of similar gaps for the rest of the top 10 there. All the way down to around 11th with Marini, who's just 4 points ahead of Nakagami. Then a bit of a gap to Quartararo, has Nicken further back. Xavier Simon up to 27 ahead of Raffin, as Manzi once again is still holding on to that wooden spoon, as in the constructor standings, 143 point lead for Calix over KTM, who are 153 points ahead of Tech 3, or 43 ahead of Suter, who are 41 ahead of Speed Up. As yes, another rainy day and another McDonald when he is supreme in these conditions. The clones are very happy, KTM are very happy. Their clones are ecstatic, it looks like, for getting a podium, but again, the elusive clones were partying hard in Australia. A 1-2. As, oh god, the crazy eyes are back. As looking at the weekend recap, yeah, the MotoGP pair where you would expect, but a 1-2 Moto2, despite a couple of crashes for McDonald. He's up to third in championship. The Finn guaranteed the top 10 virtually with that result from fourth up to second. Great pass on Oliveira as well, Morbidelli. And look at this, a double 1-2 for the first time for Elusive, as in Moto3. The Argentine won from pole ahead of Andrea, who came through the field from 21st this time up to second, as he is in third in the championship. They both smashed their race objectives. Look at the Argentine has finished in the top 6. Andrea has finished in the top 8. As looking at their skills, the Argentine improves everything. Andrea improves his throttle management. Madonna improves his corner and body position, everything up to 93. Then we've got the Finn, throttle management up to 80, corner up to 78. He might actually be one of the best riders in the field, McDonald, when he goes to the MotoGP with those stats. And then the MotoGP riders have improved everything. Has look at all those credits and reputation we have earned. As before the end of the episode, we've got an activity day, and we can go to the gym to improve the riders' coordination, and that will improve their body position ability by 100 XP, or do some abs and back muscles training, improve their corner ability by 100 XP, or go to the coach, improve their coordination, and that improves their body position ability by 20%. So we can either go to the gym or coach for that skill, or you can do a marketing campaign. We will receive an extra credit bonus for the next race who chooses once objectives by 100%. Don't really care about that as we're improving our riders once again. It's about body position or cornering, and as we go into Sepang, I think it'd be more about body position maybe. But what's the better improvement, the 20% or the 100 XP, or does that figure out to be kind of similar in the end? I don't actually know. Should we go with the coach and see how much that improves our body position ability for our riders in the next race? As next time out, we're heading to the season finale, I believe. Not in Valencia for once, but to Sepang and the international circuit in Malaysia. Can McDonald win once again? Would it be rainy once again? Can we get another 1-2 in Moto 2 and in Moto 3? And we've given up on our MotoGP riders. We're just looking forward to next season with that Yamaha. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.